I received Sinovac, or the other name is CoronaVac. It's from China. Yes, I did. I felt a bit of fever, and I felt lethargic for a while. Then the next day I was fine. I wanted to secure myself, not to have. We cannot avoid by getting COVID infection, but at least the infection will reduce. Towards us, and also the second reason is so that we don't spread the COVID-19 to others. We cannot carry it around, so we would not be a carrier. So that will be the second reason. Once you do your registration at the MySejahtera, you will get an appointment for the first dose. You need to accept the registration that they have sent to you. If you didn't accept, then they will consider that you have cancelled the vaccination. After that, you have to meet the vaccination date. You have to go to the vaccination venue and go according to the process. You have to bring your IC and make sure you updated your MySejahtera when you go to the vaccination area. Okay, my first dose was within 2 hours. My second dose was within an hour.
I lost my smell and taste first. Then I was close contact with few of my working colleagues. So that's when I went to my panel clinic for a swab test. That's how I got to know that I was tested positive. Yeah, as I said, I was few close contact with my office colleagues. So that's when I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not very sure where did I infected, but I think most probably it's from my office. Or maybe I used to travel by public transport, not. So I don't know. I can't blame anyone. I was quite nervous and panicked because I only heard from other people saying that they were tested positive. But since that was my first experience, so I was really nervous and panicked. Just lost my taste and smell, that's all. Apart from that, I was not having any fevers, no flu, nothing. But it's just that I lost my smell and taste. Myself, I did home quarantine. In March actually, because I was under home quarantine. Maybe if I go to the hospital, maybe the process will be different. But since I was under home quarantine, nothing much.
So my name is Tamiluri Vijaykumaran. I'm based in Malacca. Currently, I'm a University Malaya graduate and currently working at GH Malacca. So doing my housemaidship. I just started in April. So have been surviving for 3 months.
So basically this COVID-19 stands for coronavirus disease. Yeah, coronavirus disease. Why it's 19? Because it was first detected in China in the year of December 2019. So that's why they name it under the identifications of the disease and also its origin of the disease.
Why it's important for the own individual, first of all. Second, it's important for the community as well. Why I say so? Because that's a protection we call it as a herd immunity. Okay, herd immunity means we have this our immune system is actually very helpful. Our body knows to react. Even though we didn't do anything, our body is actually knows to adapt to it, knows to create proper antibody to it. That's why we have been surviving. Around our environment, even if we touch a surface, there's a lot of bacteria there. But we can still survive because our body is able to produce an antibody against it. Just that this coronavirus something new, and our body is still unable to make a proper antibody. So, but despite having the ability to make the antibody or not, our body can also get protected by having this thing called herd immunity. Means what? Let's say if you get vaccinated, you are actually protected. Individually, you're protected, but you're also protecting the environment because herd immunity is something that, okay, let's say in a group of people, there's 30 people in a group. Okay, 30 people are living in a family. So if 20 to 25 people are vaccinated, the remaining 5 people are also protected against the virus actually. Okay, this herd immunity has been existing so long lah. I mean, it's actually one of the mechanisms. So that's why we know children are supposed to get vaccinated so that they can prevent polio, tetanus infection. Yes. But some people, there are some anti-vaxxers, which means some parents are still in the denial that they don't want their children to go vaccination because sometimes they worry of the side effects of vaccinations, of the polio and the tetanus all, because it can cause some brain malformation, can cause the children to go into Down syndrome. Yes, it existed last time, but it's not prevalent now. But we still ask the parents, but this condition is actually very common in Sabah Sarawak. Maybe there are people over there are not are not having proper awareness regarding this. So, but still, despite their children not, we talk about the Semenanjung area lah. There are still some anti-vaxxers parents who don't want their children to get vaccinated, but their children are still protected because let's say in a Tadika, their children is going Tadika and their children is not get vaccinated, but the remaining children are actually get vaccinated. So somehow the children is also getting the antibody through the other people. So the children is also protected. So the same concept works for the coronavirus vaccination as well. If you get vaccinated, you're protected individually, and somehow you're actually protecting your community as well, because this thing called the herd immunity, you can also, somehow we talk, our body is actually having the antibodies. We don't have a proper mode like how the antibodies are being transferred or what, but we are actually protecting our community as well. That's why we are encouraging more and more people to get vaccinated, so that the remaining people who are unable to get vaccination, like the pregnant ladies, like the children, but now we have started introduce lah. But it's not really, safe. It's not really proven to be safe in pregnant women, in breastfeeding women, in children also. That's why all this while we just put them in hold and we encourage the elderly and normal people to get vaccinated. So how are we going to save these pregnant people, all these children? See, we decide already, okay, they couldn't get vaccination. So how are we going to protect them? By get ourselves vaccinated so that we can create this herd immunity and protect the people who are not get vaccinated as well. So that's why I'm encouraging more and more people to get vaccinated, so that this herd immunity can be created and we can protect the whole community as well from the virus. Yes, so it's actually beneficial and it's utmost important to the whole individual as well as to the community.
Vaccines are basically a substance or a solution that we introduce to our body, so that it's actually a foreign substance. We are actually giving it to outside. When a foreign substance entering our body immune system will automatically react to it and will produce antibodies. Let's see, let's talk about the normal flu. Normal flu that we're having, normal fever, and then it will resolve in 3 to 7 days. Normally it will just resolve. Okay. So how this happens? When a virus introduced to our body, it's just a normal virus lah. Okay, we ignore the coronavirus first. If a normal virus enter our body, our body will respond to it because it's something foreign, something new to our body, and then it will start to produce antibody to fight against it. Okay, so and we know, okay, now we talk about the coronavirus. So, we are known that our body are not making strong antibodies against the coronavirus. That's why it becomes stronger last time. Since it was detected in 2019, since 2019 it exists. So before vaccination, it was proven that people couldn't produce a proper antibody, might produce, or some people might not produce, or the antibody is not strong enough to fight against the coronavirus. So what we did, we start to create vaccines. So how this vaccine works? There are two methods. First, we try to kill the virus. We try to kill the virus at outside, means we make the virus deadly. We can kill the virus by introducing chemicals, by heat, by radiation. Yeah, so we kill the virus and introduce into our body. Okay, so this virus, you might think, oh my god, so am I introducing with a virus again into my body? Actually, yeah, but these viruses are inactivated form. Activated forms are the one that our antibody cannot fight against. But this inactivated virus, we are actually giving a sample, like we're telling our body, okay, this is the coronavirus sample, but this is the inactivated form. So we are actually giving alarm to the body, okay, first to produce the antibody. This is actually the sample of the coronavirus. So next time, if the real coronavirus, which is the activated form of the coronavirus, enter our body, so that our body already having the antibody, which is strong enough. Because sometimes our body are capable to produce antibody, just that it might take some time. So if we are not being introduced with the inactivated form, and suddenly we get infected, our body get shocked, and it is sometimes to produce antibody because it's something new to the body. And sempat to produce antibody, people collapse already and then die already because sempat produce the antibody. So now what we think, okay, maybe humans think are smart. Okay, we want to insert the inactivated form of the antibody so that our body is prepared. Prepared before the activated virus enter our body. So prepared and then produce a proper antibody. So once the activated form antibody entered our body, we already have our antibody prepared, and then it's stored. So once the virus enter, we can actually start fighting against it. So that's the first method of the vaccine works, which is we introduce the inactivated form and our body produce the antibody. Okay. Second, what we'll do, we won't introduce the virus directly, but what we do, we will insert a protein, we will insert a gene material. Gene material is RNA and DNA. Okay, we will insert this RNA or DNA material so that our body can produce a protein which are found in the surface of the coronavirus. Okay, see, in a virus, in a whole, there should be a particular part which is highly infective. So far, in this coronavirus, the surface of the coronavirus is highly infective. So what they did, they investigate the surface of the virus and they take the gene of the surface, the RNA material, and then they introduce to our body so that our body can make the protein, because RNA is important to make a protein. Okay, this protein is actually found in the surface of the coronavirus, and so eventually we are actually introducing the pattern of the virus also. Just that in the first case, we straight masuk the inactivated virus as the whole, but now we are just picking the surface of the coronavirus and insert to our body so that our body can produce the own antibody. Got it? Yeah. So these are the two mechanisms of the vaccination. So how does vaccine works? First, we masuk terus the inactivated virus. We not investigating. Okay, we take out the surface and masuk. We take out the body and masuk. No, it's not like that. We straight make the virus, pick up the virus, kill it by heat radiation outside, and then insert the inactivated form into the body. That's the first case. Second case, we take the
RNA material of which can be found in the surface of the coronavirus. We just insert the RNA material in the inside our body, so that our body will produce a protein through the RNA, because one RNA can actually multiply, and then if it multiply, it makes up a protein, and that protein is actually foreign to our body, and then our body will think, oh, something foreign inside, so I must make an antibody. So our body starts to make antibody, and when the virus is introduced to our body, the activated virus enter our body, the antibody is already prepared, and then our body can actually act against it very fast, and we can see the results of the vaccination lah. Okay, in Malaysia, there are 3 types of vaccines available so far. First is Pfizer. Pfizer is the one first introduced in Malaysia lah. Okay. Second is Sinovac, and third is AstraZeneca. Okay, these are the 3 types of vaccines available in Malaysia. Okay, how these vaccines work? First, Pfizer. Pfizer actually, just now I explained 2 mechanisms of vaccination, right? First, the inactivated virus, our body produce antibody. Second, we insert the RNA material, the gene material inside our body, and then a protein will be produced in the body, and against the protein, against the foreign protein, our body will produce antibody. So, the first vaccine, which is Pfizer, inside the Pfizer, we are actually giving the RNA material. Inside the Pfizer actually contains the RNA material of the virus. So, once we inject the Pfizer into the body, it has the RNA material inside the body. The RNA multiply. It makes up a protein, and that protein is actually the protein of the virus. So our body will see, oh, something foreign is there. The protein of the virus is there. I must make antibody. So our body will make antibody to it. That's for the Pfizer. Okay. For Sinovac actually is the inactivated form of the virus, which is the first mechanism that I told you. Means we are actually directly giving the inactivated form of the virus into the body, and then our body will produce the antibody towards it. Means inside the bottle of the Sinovac, it's full of the inactivated form of the coronavirus. AstraZeneca also works by RNA material of the. It's not the inactivated form. I'm not sure whether it's a DNA material or RNA material, but it's also the gene material of the virus. We insert to the body, and then the gene material will make up as a protein, and then our body will produce the antibody against the protein. So far, Sinovac is the inactivated form, and Pfizer and also the AstraZeneca works based on the second mechanism that I told, which is the RNA material make up a protein, and then our body will produce the antibody against it. Okay. This is just matter of fact for me, because despite having vaccinated, people are still, be it a Pfizer, be it a Sinovac, there are still patients coming in with COVID-19 infected after the vaccination. So, I'm not very compromised or convinced with the efficacy, because in reality, the vaccination, it doesn't matter. Because I would say that the people who get vaccinated are equally protected, just that the intensity of the disease is very much less. I'm very sure about it. I cannot 100% tell you all that, okay, people who are vaccinated are not getting infected with COVID. They do get vaccinated, but the progression of the disease, the severity of disease is much less. And so far, of course, there are some people who can actually progress to death because of their underlying condition. We have an healthy young individual, another people who have a lot of medical illness like diabetes, heart problems, pre-existing lung condition, pre-existing asthma, and another person who are not having pre-existing asthma is completely healthy individual, and both are vaccinated. Of course, the asthma individual will deteriorate so fast lah, because their lung is already a bit affected, and now there's a new infection coming in. It's going to make it more severe only. Yeah. So it's about the survival of infection is actually determined by a lot of factors. So one of the factors are like the underlying medical condition. People who are having a pre-existing medical conditions, all the heart failure cases, respiratory all the heart problems, lung problems, diabetes, obesity. That's one condition that can actually make the disease worse. And then second is the vaccination factor. Even though they are getting vaccinated, but the progression of the disease is slow, and their possibility to recover from the infection is very high. Okay. So far I would say these are the two vectors that can actually decide whether this disease is going to be very severe or this disease is going to be very less severe. Yeah. So I'll still encourage many to get themselves vaccinated lah. Because at least even if you get infected with COVID, you can actually save yourself from being from becoming very severe, or that can actually lead to death. Yeah, so even though there's a progression, even though there's an infection in the lung, we doctors can actually somehow can treat by giving you oxygen therapy, antibiotic, supportive therapy, so that we can reduce the severity of the illness. But people are not vaccinated, we really cannot save you all, because somehow, see, your body mechanism is also very, very slow. You're not getting any vaccination, and you have a lot of medical condition like heart failure, lung problems. So definitely your survival rate is very, very low lah. So even though we give lots of oxygen, antibiotic, I'm sure it's not going to work. Somehow they are going to die soon. To be honest, they are going to die soon. So I strongly suggest to people to get vaccinated actually.